Good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back to another segment of the Easy Talk on a Friday. And I had to ask John a very important question. Did you take off your hat yesterday, John? John.
You know what? I completely forgot to put it on, man. Yeah, it weren't until you asked me. I forgot. I was like, "Where's my hat?" Oh, man, we've lost. I think that's gone out the window. The hat. It don't matter anymore. I'm like that geezer. What's his name? Odd Job. He throws his hat around wherever it lands.
Anyway, we're going to see if we can knock this one out inside. I'll say, maybe an hour. I mean, there's just three of us, the two of the likely lads. But I didn't see the majority of the game. I said actually from my yesterday late afternoon show, I've got to be in a Zoom call, and I was on a Zoom call. Thank God for that.
You were
But
lucky.
anyway, we'll get in this particular Easy Talk on the other side of this music intro. Right, so yes, we are back in full effect. We've got two parts of the likely lads over here. I've got to say a quick shout out to Elto, Richard Godfather. He hasn't featured for quite a while. I know he was out in Ireland and he's a little bit poorly over the last few days, but I am in contact with him. And I'm not sure if the Richard Godfather is watching now, but we wish you all the best, Elto. Elto, there you go. And also the message down it does say subscribe to Canon 4 TV as well. And yeah. So, Richard.
Yes.
Talk to me, Richard.
Well, there's not much to say. I mean, Holding made the referee make a decision, and once you do that, you're always You're always going to be in trouble. After that, it's pretty much game over. You can't come back. You can't come back from a goal. You'll go down. You go a man down, and then you're just trying to make sure the school doesn't get too bad. And the second goal was down to sorting out who they were bringing on. He didn't want to bring Ben White on. He hadn't been training that. He hadn't had any training matches that week, so I think it was sensible not to risk him that game. Get him a couple training matches in before Monday, and have him fit for Monday. And as it is going into Monday, there's a doubt now about Gabriel. So it might be that we're going to have to play White and Gabriel and put up with Suarez and Tavares on the flanks. But it was stupid by Holding. The penalty is one of those that you think, how many times have you seen those tackles like that, and then they're not given? Loads. Sometimes they are. It just depends on the ref and what he decides on the day. I'd like a bit more consistency, but I think it's game over. What we forget about it, we move on to Monday, and concentrate on winning on Monday. It's disappointment because it's not about the school losing. It's about who we lost to.
Yeah,
it's a local rivals, and that's what hurts it, and that's what's disappointing.
I've seen some people tweeting out actually late last night and actually early this morning that it's down to Rob Holding's stupidity. That's why we lost the game. Was it down to Rob Holding? That's why we lost the game, John? Was it his fault?
No, I'm not. We can't. Yeah, it's a team game, man. Let's not blame the guy. He was pumped up, shall we say? He was really hyped up. You could see it coming. You know what I mean? You could see what was going to happen. He had a few little tassels with Son. I think, to be fair, Son was getting the better of him. But yeah, I think like his second thing, the elbow in the face, or it weren't a bad elbow, but in the letter of the law, you're going to go off for that. The ref sees that, you're off. See you later.
Yeah, I mean that angle is a poor angle, and it does look like an elbow when you actually see. I think it was at half time. They actually showed from the other side, and it's actually the upper part of the arm, more of a shoulder, that hits him in the face, and he was already going down when as well. So, but if you do that with your arm, you're asking to be sent off, as John says.
I think the thing is, Alex, right? This is the problem we've had all season. Discipline, red cards, silly reds, silly seconds off, and that cost us games.
Yeah.
Personally, Mr. Arteta's got to take the blame for that, and the captain. They had plenty of time. Someone should have gone up to Holding, said, "Calm it down, mate. Calm yourself down." You know what I mean? It's a long way to go. You do not need to get sent off. There's no need for that. You know what I mean? The penalty was bad enough. 1-0 down. I thought we were still playing really well. We were still in it. We were 11 men. We still had a great chance to even win that game. You know what I mean? We looked like we had the better Spurs until that penalty. But I was looking what was going on, and you could just see the stupid tackles and that bit of afters. It weren't needed. You know what I mean? It just weren't needed. But as I say, maybe if Lacazette was on that pitch, he might have had a word with Odegaard, the captain. He ain't that type of captain, to sort them blokes out. They've got to have a stronger leader in that team. I don't care what anyone says. We still ain't got a proper captain. Like Tony Adams would have put up with that. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, to blame him is harsh. He's gonna come off that thing. He's probably sick as a pig. Do you know what I mean? He knows and he don't need being told off. He knows he's let his mates down. But no, we can't pin the blame on him because think of what he has done beforehand to get us this far. He's done all right, man.
Yeah.
But, go. Arteta has got to sort out this discipline without a doubt. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not fair on the fans. We was denied a proper game of football. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm gutted about. We just didn't get to see him a game of football. As soon as he went, to me, that game was done and dusted. There was no way in the world we was ever coming back. I was just glad it was 3-0, Alex and Richard.
Yeah.
I mean, when he got 3-0, I switched off. Hey, I'll get Muller tomorrow. Get off the spuds. That's the North London Cup derby. No matter about anything else, Champions League, both teams want to win that, and they're obviously really hyped up for it. But even the penalty, it was a half-hearted sort of penalty. That refs played to the letter of the law, basically. And now, 9 times out of 10, they'd have probably got away with that. But you do it, that's the risk you take, isn't it?
Yeah. Were they prepared well for the North London derby, John?
Yeah, well prepared. What I see of it, the first sort of 15 minutes, Richard will tell you, they look really good. They look well up.
Okay.
They look well up. I didn't see them lose. That's the annoying thing about it. I think we'd have got a draw out of that game if we'd have kept 10 men on the pitch. This is a learning curve. I mean, Holding's an experienced player, so there's no.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah,
just about to say that, John. Yeah.
Cedric maybe a little more leeway, but they've got 2 games now. You can't afford to do that sort of madness, Where it wasn't. He weren't threatening, was he? He weren't threatening goal or nothing, Just he just had the hump with Son basically because he was getting the better of him. So, and to be honest, I've got to say, Son did the same sort of thing to him. If you look on the net, you'll see it. he's elbowed
Yeah.
him in the face and got away with it. You know? So the refereeing, the consistency just ain't there. And to me, VAR, I'd scrap it personally and just go with humans.
Richard, were you surprised that Arsenal couldn't register at least one goal?
I think we would have had we had 11 on the pitch. That's the thing. The first 13 minutes, we looked really good. It was very similar to the way we started against Leeds. We were closing them down. We got a couple of interceptions and we're attacking them quite well. And even then, when we were down to 10, we had a couple of chances. Odegaard scuffed the shots. There were a couple skied shots, but the two Odegaard ones which were quite tame in the end. But that happens occasionally. I still think we could have and maybe should have had a goal out of the chances we created in that game. But I think it was a contest over as soon as we went down to 10 men. But saying that, I was still happy with the performance from the players that were left out there. They still played well. They still tried. They didn't capitulate, and that's all you can ask. Right? It didn't. It wasn't a massacre, and they run their socks off.
Where does this leave Nicolas Pepe? Because I thought maybe Arteta would have taken a punt to play him at least for the last maybe 10, 15 minutes, but we haven't seen Pepe. Where does it leave Nico Pepe?
Pepe's done, isn't he, John? I think. I mean, I just don't. For me, the player you see in France, I don't think the system suits him here. What we've done, in the Spurs side on the counter attack, he might thrive in that sort of team that sits back and counters. But when you've got the ball and you're doing most of the attacking, and he's coming up against 2 or 3 defenders, and he's wanting to cut in on his left foot. People know that they've got him sussed. So I think it's a mixture of all that, and I think he'll be sold in the summer. I'd be surprised if he isn't.
For you, John, Nicolas Pepe is done.
Pepe, done and dusted. I don't think Arteta ever wanted him in the team. If I'm honest, he's sort of stuck with him, didn't he? He got bought before his time, well overpriced. That ain't Pepe's fault, That was sort of some sort of shenanigans went on, and he's got bought, probably about 4 times over what he's worth, if we're honest.
And you got to think Emery didn't want him either, did he, John? Emery didn't want him. Emery wanted Zaha.
Exactly.
No, he didn't. None of them really. That's what I'm saying. If you look into the politics of it, he was bought well over what he was worth. The geezer that bought him was sacked, weren't he? So he was never really wanted. I think the best Arsenal have ever done now, they just want to play him to try and get rid of him and get as much money as they can before the end of the season, sort of thing. But I don't even think that'll happen now. I don't think he'll get a game. But after the Africans Cup, I thought he would come into the squad. He looked like he had a good tournament there, played all right. But he never got a sniff, did he? And I think after was it the Leeds game or the other game where he's sort of cut back when he should have scored. I don't think he'd be playing anytime soon.
Yeah. So we go on. The next game's actually Newcastle. Another, I think, a toughie. Monday night football. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they changed that.
Go on, John.
They changed that fixture, didn't they? That was a Saturday or Sunday, and Sky decided to move it.
Yeah.
It awkward for the fans to get up there on a Monday, you know.
So where's this one going to head then, John? Newcastle away.
Tough game, mate. You know.
Yeah.
Rude, you know, they got to be at their best to beat Newcastle. I know they got stuffed the other day, but these players are looking for new contracts. They ain't got nothing to lose. It's a dangerous situation for Arsenal. Pressure's on them, isn't it? Newcastle ain't got no pressure. They can't go down. They can't get a European spot. It's like these are the sort of teams that can turn you over if you're not on your game. So we need to be fully disciplined, keep on the pitch, and fully professional. You know. And at the moment, we're struggling for defenders, aren't we?
Yeah. Because Gabriel limped off, didn't he? Did he limp off?
Yeah,
Gabriel.
yeah.
He limped off, Gabriel.
Yeah, he might not be available Monday. They're struggling, aren't they, for defenders again now, you know?
Yeah.
Once again, we're back down to the bare minimum. I assume Holding's out. I'm not sure about Cedric. Did he get a yellow?
I think... Did he get a yellow, Richard?
Not that I remember, but there were Smith Rowe did.
Yes.
Oh goodness, yeah.
And there was a couple.
Who else?
I want to say Odegaard did as well, but I can't remember exactly which.
He did. I think you're right. Odegaard got one as well.
You know, they've got to be careful. And Alex, don't forget, we got that young guy that used to play for us. I can't think of his name now. Plays for Newcastle.
Joe Willock.
That's it, Joe Willock. Yeah. Now he's going to be well up for that game. You know he's going to have a right go at Arsenal, isn't he?
He was on the bench against City, I think. But yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one because part of me thinks all they've really got to play for is the fans. Give us fans a summer send off, and they might have one eye on the beach, so it might be reasonably easy, but on the other hand, it could be a little bit tougher. It depends on what the mentality of the players are come Monday night. And if they set up the way they did against City, if they go back 4-3-3 with the same players in, I think we'll turn them over. But if he changes it back to a different formation, which he might go back to the previous formation, it might be a bit tougher. I think the only things we've really got to worry about is Wilson and Woods. From they're two decent players and they're pretty good in the air. So I would be, I would want our set pieces to be spot on, and sorted, because the last couple have been a little bit shaky from us, and before that we've been pretty solid defensively, but we haven't had White in, so maybe if White comes back, that we'll get that defensive solidity from set pieces again.
Anyway, anyone's just watching now, we've got the latest segment of the Easy Talk with 2/3 on the Lightly Lads, and actually someone's going to be rapping a little bit towards the end, and it ain't going to be me. A little bit of ice baby. So let's
Alex.
Nice. Cheers, John. Let's go to the live chat for the first time on this latest segment of the Easy Talk, and actually they've got quite a few comments here. First up, we've got our moderator for the evening show is Ashley D. Says, "Hey up, Gooners! Welcome to California TV with the Crazy Gang and the amazing Black Tap." All right, okay. Thank you for that. Who else do we have here? He goes on to say, well, no surprise we lost yesterday. No surprise. Richard, what was your prediction for yesterday?
2-2.
2-2. John?
Actually, mine was 2-2, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it'd be
met a team
been wrong.
Meta team that comes out and attack, and we cannot deal with it. Here we go again. Colin Young, good afternoon. She says, no rainbows today. We're not inside my house anyway. The assembled says, good evening, panel. I hope Brother Isaac can spread some words of wisdom to us. He's not available today.
Yeah, sorry, you got put out with us, assembled.
Then the manager makes referee excuses instead of putting the card leading team to task. Jared, good afternoon. Says, afternoon, folks. Afternoon, folks. It makes us sound old. Anyway, we got Spursy, Mikel Arteta. He knows exactly what we need. Holding at the back, Nketiah, and an attack. We're on our way back to Europa League. Oh, dear. Sent Chambers and 80 Maitland-Niles on loan. What an inspired idea. I mean, John, what's going to happen to these players? Maitland-Niles
Maitland-Niles will be sold, I think.
I mean, but then again, I thought Smith Rowe, I thought he was done and dusted. He's come back into the team, and look what he's done. He's done marvellous. So you just never know with Arteta. That's saying Saliba's coming back now. So to be fair to Arteta, he has given a couple of them. If you're in his one of his favourites, I think you're sorted. If you're not on his radar, you're out the window, aren't you?
Yeah.
He said himself, Eddie was sort of overlooked. So, I don't know.
I mean, the problem with Ainsley is that he's gone to Roma to play as a right back under Mourinho, who you'd say is probably one of the best defensive coaches out there, and he hasn't had any game time. He's not done. He's not cut the mustard over there. So if that's the case, is he what we need here?
It's pretty easy to fall out with Mourinho as well, to be honest. If he's like, that's it, mate.
Jared says that the refereeing was terrible. Son should have been booked early. Penalty was soft, and holding was left smart. With getting into a battle with Son, this was the game to play a back three to match up with them. Richard, well, refereeing terrible.
The referee was terrible. I mean, you the stats before the game. He gives us over 3 yellow cards per game. He gives Spurs 2. The only teams he gives more cards to are Everton, Liverpool, and Southampton, and they get nearly 3.5 cards a game from him. So it was always going. We were always going to get a lot of yellow cards. Also, we're allowed under his refereeing, we're allowed less tackles per foul than other teams. I think it's like 0.68 tackles before we get a yellow card. And again, other teams are above the 1 point something mark, most of them, apart from Liverpool, Southampton and that. But saying that, you give a referee a decision and you give a pool referee a decision to make, he's going to make a decision about a decision that's going to go against you. You've got to play smart. Holding was stupid. He didn't have to use a shoulder there. He didn't have to get that tight to Son. He could have dropped back and let Son turn and then go in for the ball. And for me, that was his fault. But you don't know what goes on in the player's mind in given situations.
But Richard, like John says, Holding's one of the most experienced players now at Arsenal. So surely he should have known better. He's played probably, I wouldn't say maybe more North London derbies than some of the players, but he should know better, shouldn't he?
I agree, and I think I mean part of it. I think he's got rattled by Son. I think he got rolled up by the fact that Son out with him when they had a wrestling match on the floor, and nothing came of that. And but you don't allow, especially in a game like that. And I'd said it before the match: calm heads and play with maturity. He didn't do any of that. He allowed himself to get riled up. He didn't think about it. He didn't act with the maturity you'd expect from a player of his age. And at the end of the day, he's put his team under extreme pressure for the rest of the match.
But John makes the point about having a strong captain, strong characters around Holding to say, look, actually, you know, Rob, we need 11 men. So just kind of calm it down. And even better still, your managers to say, look, Rob, look, just take it easy because we still need to get a result from here. Yeah, don't be silly. Don't get another yellow card. Or why didn't he pull him off?
Because who do you put on? If you take him off, you've got to risk White, and you've still got 2 more matches. White wasn't match fit. He hasn't had any training matches up to that point, and he's coming back from a tight hamstring. Do you want to put him in a game? And if he sport on and his hamstring goes at that point during that game, we're without one of our best defenders this season for the last two games. I mean, maybe he could have done what he did once Holding got sent off, but done it before, moved Tomiasso into Holding's place and replaced Holding with Tavares. But again, you had Kuleveski on that side, and he probably didn't have that much faith in Tavares. But to be honest, let's give Tavares credit. When he came on, he actually didn't have a bad game.
Yeah.
He actually had a pretty decent game from what I saw. But it's hard to say you should have brought White on because other than White, I think was it Zach Swanson was our only other possibility to go in there, and he's a kid. He hasn't had first team football, and he's more of a right back than the centre back. So
you should have to players off anyway through through a game. It's just started. You shouldn't be pulling players off. They should know just to calm down.
I mean, for me, it's you've got to look at Holding and say, why were you making the decision to make that type of tackle when you're on the yellow card? Why are you giving a referee a decision to make? Because if that's a better referee, Michael Oliver, he's going to probably make the same decision.
Yeah. Or maybe better still, the referee to speak to the player and say, "Listen, just calm it down, because I don't want to end up giving you another yellow card."
I mean, if that's Nigel Owen in rugby, he's pulling the player over and saying, "Look, calm it down. You've had several offences. You're off next one," and then maybe Holding would have thought, "Okay, fair enough," and I'll be careful how I go.
I don't think you see that much, do you? You don't see literally these days referees speaking to players, to them just to calm down. You know, I don't want to end up, sending you. You don't see that much these days, do you, John?
I don't think they're bothered in that no more. Right, you don't see it. You used to get them together and say, "Come on, lads, calm down." That's the way it should be done. But that seems to have gone out the window recently. They're too busy with VAR and all that. I think on the mic, they're kind of minor celebrities now, aren't they? So it's like you get on with. It's true though. They should sort out themselves, shouldn't they? You know.
Yeah. Let's go with more in the live chat. Who told Eddie Nketiah now to mark back post? What a mismatch! Surely a defensive player should have been at the back post. And actually, yeah, I thought, why is he marking Kane, Richard or John? Why is he marking Kane? Wait, actually, he didn't mark him. He let him go, didn't he, John? What's going on there?
Hear him, was he? I think he was up for the corner himself. I think he was after the goal. That natural instinct. Well, it's not in his instinct to defend like that, is it? And he had to. Yeah. So you tell me what he was doing, Alex.
Oh, dearie me. Anyway. Colin says lack of discipline in regards to cards in a manager's task to tackle. Come on, man. It's a persistent problem, Richard.
Possibly. I mean, Xhaka's had most of our red cards. Martinelli, again, was unlucky. He got too quick. He'd made a yellow card tackle, and then he stopped them getting the throw off quickly and got a second yellow when he hadn't even received the first yellow. So in that short space of time, that one's unlucky. With Xhaka, are you ever going to change the way he plays? He is all. Maybe the problem there was what Arteta was asking him to do. Since he's been playing in that more advanced role, he hasn't got a red, and I think he's only picked up 2 yellows in that time as well. So discipline wise, he's improved. But yeah, I mean, we've had too many reds this season, and it's something that Arteta and the coaching staff will have to look at the end of the season and say, how can we improve this? How do we stop individual players losing their heads and going for it? If it's a midfielder and or a defender on the yellow, and in the first half you're looking at that and thinking, it's going to be difficult to get through that game without getting the second yellow, then maybe you swap them over. But I mean, it wasn't even 4 or 5 minutes between his first and second yellow. You'd have expected the player of his thing. But there is a discipline. There is a. I'm not sure if it's a discipline problem or just a lack of maturity or a bit of common sense. Players lacking a bit of common sense. I've got a yellow. Calm it down. Be careful what I'm doing, but still play with the same sort of aggression and that I need to play. And then it's down to the manager to make a decision whether he's bought off and swapped.
Who was the captain? Was it Odegaard? It was.
Odegaard was the captain. Yeah.
I think Lacazette, when he came on, he took the armband, which was a bit strange.
No, it's not, because Lacazette is the natural captain if he's in the starting 11. But because he was on the bench,
to me, it's strange that he comes on and becomes the captain. Like
most teams do that. If you've got a club captain, and he's not. I think was it Henderson for Liverpool the other day, and came on, and he got the armband off whoever had it at the time, because he's club captain, and as soon as the club captain comes on the pitch, the armband goes to him.
Right. Okay.
It's a strange way of doing it, but
this someone says Holding was upset that Son wasn't given a yellow card for the elbow on Holding. Actually, I saw on Twitter, you can see he's grappling with Holding, and he gives him the elbow, and he's looking at the referee. But
red.
Where's VAR when you need VAR, John? Where's VAR?
Mike Dean was running the show, wasn't he?
Oh, right, okay, that explains it then.
I mean, let's say that was only a yellow anyway, because there wasn't any fault. There wasn't really any force. He's just gone like that with it. But it still should have been a yellow, and
Yeah.
VAR can't get involved on yellow card decisions.
Yeah.
Well, what I think
Yeah.
what annoys me more is if you in the second half when Tavares holds off Emerson Royale, you see Emerson Royale rolling around the floor, clutching his face, and he was nowhere near his face. It was sort of chest neck area. And I'm thinking, if a player's feigning injury like that, they should be booked or for simulation.
Yeah.
It'll stop it. If you send the player off for simulation, they'll soon stop simulating.
Do you think, Richard? I think players still do simulate.
But if you changed it from a yellow to a red for simulation,
Oh well,
because that's 3 games missed, they're going to get fined by the club. You'd hope, but this situation has come about because referees don't give fouls.
Yeah.
If a player stays on his feet.
Yeah.
So a lot of this is down to the way the game's refereed. Now, I saw on YouTube Chelsea women versus Reading women, and the referee and all the assistants were mic'd up, and you could hear every decision and in every part of the game. We need that. We need that as fans in the Premier League. We need referees to be mic'd up so you can hear why they're making this decision and what sort of feedback they're getting from the assistants as well.
That's a good point.
It might help us understand a bit better.
John, your thoughts about having referees mic'd up so you can actually hear the dialogue and listen to them read the reason why they've given, a red card or made that decision. Your thoughts on that, John?
Well, yeah, it sounds good, doesn't it? I'm not sure during the game after they should come out and be accountable for their decisions. I think they like when they have to do the press conference. I think they should have to come out and say, "This is why I did that. This is why I sent him off. This is why I booked him." I think that's fair enough. With the mics during the game, I ain't so sure. I suppose with a VAR decision, they could do it on the mic, but I don't like all this technology. To me, it ruins the flow of football. I don't even like VAR, to be honest, Alex. I'm fed up with it. I'd like to go back to the old style, just, the natural flow of the game and just go by human nature. Refs can't get everything right. They don't go out to destroy a game. They are fair. Most of them love football, Yeah. We don't always see what they see. Players are running 90 miles an hour up and down the pitch. We get one angle on Sky and it all looks wrong, but they see something else, So you've got to say 90% of the time you've got to go with a ref. Otherwise, you're never going to be able to make a decision. But for me, all I would like them to see is at the end of the game, come out on Sky or whatever it is and say, this is why I made the decision, and whether they're right or whether they're wrong. If they've made a mistake, no one's going to, they're only human, isn't it? But they have got about another 4 or 5 people watching them now. So pressure's on them not to make mistakes. And I think this is what causes problems. They've got a bit of extra, where that corner, where that penalty, I think without VAR, I probably wouldn't have given that. He's just thinking, I know VAR didn't give the penalty, but he's thinking, I better give that, VAR are going to give it. So I think they've just got extra pressure, what they don't need. But we're never going to agree with what refs' decisions they make. And players have just got to get on with it, They might have had the with that penalty, but tough. They have plenty of time to get on with it and deal with the game, rather than strop around.
That's a good point. That's a good point, John. That's a good point. Really good point. And actually, Jared talks about that we had chances. We had some good chances. Saka had a cutback. Erdegaard had his shot saved. We just weren't clinical enough. I think you spoke about that, didn't you, Richard? We had
Yeah,
chances.
I mean, there were Odegaard's 2 chances were probably the best, and he either scuffed a shot or didn't get a proper contact on either of these two cutback shots, and that's disappointing when you're in centre of the goal, about 12 yards out. You should be hitting the corners, not where close enough for the keeper to make a decent save. He didn't have to pull out a world-class save to stop either of those. If he pulled out 2 world-class saves, then you can say, well done, Lloris. You had a fantastic game. But he didn't have I think the only real decent save he made was down to the bottom left-hand corner of his post against Nketiah. And that's the only real testing save he probably had to make all night. Everything else was nearly right at him.
Did he not have to make a shot as well? I think Nketiah had another shot. We had to tip it over the bar, or maybe
there was on. I think it was probably just going over anyway, but he wasn't 100% sure, so he had to make the save. But it's being a little bit more calm in those situations and just having. But again, Odegaard's young, and you're going to get that occasionally with a young player. Sometimes they're going to rush a shot in a given situation. I mean, you might say Smith Rowe might not have rushed that, but again, he might have because he's young. It's a pressure situation, and you're already under pressure by being a goal down and a man down. You might make similar decisions with your shots, but I mean, we were still attacking the way we wanted. We were still getting chances. It was just very unlikely at that point we were ever going to get anything than the consolation goal. And I would have liked to see us a little bit more clinical, but sometimes in games it doesn't go your way.
Yeah. Jared actually makes a point about Nico Pepe. This wasn't the game for Pepe. Pepe would have been given the ball away in that situation. I think he should start on Monday with Smith Rowe and Lacazette up front, freshen up the team a bit, John. Oh, John's got a bit of a lag. John?
Yeah, he's smiling.
I won't play.
Can you hear me, John?
Pepe. Yeah.
Oh, wow. You wouldn't play him?
Smith Rowe.
Yeah, he's got problems with his Wi-Fi. For you, Richard?
No, I wouldn't,
no, not
play
Pepe.
Pepe.
Possibly Smith Rowe. I'm not sure about Lacazette up front. I think Eddie's done a great job. He again yesterday he was chasing balls down. He was trying to get in behind when he had the chance, but I think against Newcastle, who tend to, against City, had a higher line and will suit. And I think with Pepe, he's had enough chances this season, even in Carabao Cup games, to put his marker down and say, I deserve to be in this team. He hasn't done that. Last season, at the end of the season, he was on fire. He got 16 goals across all competitions last season, Pepe. Yet, coming into the start of this season, he was given a chance. Didn't get that the form from the back end of the last season and was dropped. And in the chances he's had, he still hasn't dropped. What I don't know what it is for him. Is it an attitude problem? Is it just the way we play is wrong for him? I mean, look at Mo Salah at Chelsea. Look at De Bruyne at Chelsea. They look crap, below average players. They've gone to City and Liverpool, and they look world class now. But the systems suit them, and the style of play suits them. So maybe it's a case of the style and club doesn't suit Pepe, and in another club with a system that suits him, it'll show what sort of player he is. I mean, hats off to him. Thank you for your time at the club, and good luck with his future career. We'll move on and get somebody who can perform and challenge Saka in that position.
John, are you back with us? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm with the Woolwich.
So you were saying about Pepe. Would you not play him on Monday? Would you play him on Monday?
Nah. To me, he's done and dusted. You know, put him on the sideline if you have to. But Arteta's obviously got no inkling of having him in the team. If you ask me, he probably will be on the bench, like I say, because they need to sell him. How long's he got on his contract?
Oh goodness, I think I don't know, Richard. One more year, I think, until 2023.
2023, 2024. Yeah, he's might be 2 years, but I know they're looking to sell him, and they've already started putting his name out to other clubs.
I mean,
I think Newcastle and some I think Sevilla as well have been abroad. But it's been clubs have been let known that he's available if anyone's interested.
Yeah. Sorry, Richard. John, what were you saying, John? Didn't hear you.
I said he might have been harshly treated, this season by Arteta, and don't seem to really figure in his plans as a number. How many, times has he played 90 minutes? He ain't really got full games, has he? From what or consistently. So I don't think his heart's in it. I don't think Arteta's heart's in it. He probably ain't a bad player. He's not, he's not going to set the world alight. But like Richard said, who knows? He could go on to another club and do brilliant for him. But he might end up another Ozil just sitting on his contract. They got to be careful with him,
Yeah. Mario says Tomiyasu might play centrally. We may have a makeshift defense for the last 2 games, Richard.
Oh, I don't think it'll be unless Ben White's not fit for the last 2 games. I don't think it'll be a makeshift. I think Ben White will come in against Newcastle. I think Tomiyasu will play left centre back. He plays left centre back for Japan, and then you'll have Tavares and Suarez as your fullbacks, which isn't ideal, but they've done all right when they've come on for us. Holding, as it was a second yellow. Well, I think that's only a 1-game ban, isn't it? So he might be back and available for Everton, and we don't know how serious Gabriel's injury is. It might just be a little twinge, and he's thought, I'll come straight off, not risk it any further, and be safe for the last 2 games. So it might be that we have White and Gabriel back but I wouldn't be unhappy with White and Tomiyasu as our central defence against Newcastle. To be honest, I'd be quite happy with that, because I think you've got probably 3 players you could pick out as player of the season for us, and that's Saka, and that's Ramsdale, and that's Tomiyasu. And the Tomiyasu, to be honest, has gone unnoticed because of those other two players. He gets on with his job. I can't remember, other than the Brighton first half away, that players got past him and given him a torrid time. Most players he's come up against, wingers he's come up against, he's kept them in his pocket and had them under control. And as I said, there was Kukura at Brighton in the first half, but in the second half, he got to grips with him. So,
okay, John, Newcastle smell blood, and I smell a systemic weakness, mentality, fragility. Well, mentally jaded. Are they mentally tired? These young bunch of players at Arsenal.
No, they look well up for it from me. That game,
Yeah.
they come out all guns blazing. Is what I wanted to see. They didn't look jaded at all. It's just again got killed off as soon as that sending off happened. That was it, dead, done and dusted. I should have switched the TV off then. You know, back into it. You never know, some sort of miracle. But yeah, the penalty we could have 1-0 down. We had a chance. We could have got back. We could have even won it, in my opinion. But 2-0, the likes of Spurs, you got no chance. You know, Spurs ain't mugs.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think they're jaded. But mentally, they must be thinking. You know, the pressure's back on. Even if they'd have got that draw, they'd have been comfortable going into the Newcastle game. Now they need a win. Both games they need to win. There's no mucking about now. That is it. They've got to concentrate for 90 minutes or 180 minutes, 2 games. Get these games done and dusted. None of this shenanigans. No getting sent offs. You know, no kicking out of people. That's ridiculous. Arsenal have got a problem with that. Arteta's never addressed the problem, and so I blame him for all that. They're young kids. Their older players set a precedent early on in the season. Do you know what I mean? With all that getting sent off, like Xhaka and Gabriel and all that, and they're stupid sendings off, if you ask me. And
Exactly.
They're not even in on goal. It's not. You know, it's the game ain't even started, and they're getting sent off. I think that's ridiculous, and that's on Arteta's head. He's got 2 games to sort it. He ain't gonna, because I think if you go back through his stats on red cards, Arsenal's red cards since Arteta's been manager, it's terrible. So it ain't change anytime soon. Like I say, ain't proper Tony Adams or Keane in there to stop that. And them boys got sent off themselves, but when they got sent off, it was for proper reasons, you know. Someone done a bad tackle. But yeah.
Anyway, Dark Square 1971 says we've got no defense available. Let's run through this very, very quickly. Also, I think that Arteta should have told Gabriel to man mark Son instead of hold him, because Son figured out how to get the worst out of Rob. Just a few more. Omar Berrick was brought by Arteta before he let Saliba go on loan. This might be the game he makes his debut. Who knows who's going to play? I cannot type fast enough.
Sorry, Colin.
That's a good one. I think the next game, you go on Leno, Cedric, Tomiyasu, Gabriel, Nuno, Elneny, Xhaka, Pepe, Ødegaard, ESR, and Lacazette. We need to be quick and clinical and try and attack them from the jump. And Ashidi says, I predict we would lose. Kane and Son would score and a red card for us, though expected it to be Xhaka, so I was more or less spot on. And Heads Up, that's a nice handle, says, do you think the atmosphere got to the players, John?
Yeah, obviously the atmosphere got to Holding. You know? He was proper pumped up, weren't he? Two pumped. Do you remember Gazza in the FA Cup final when he done that tie against Nottingham Forest?
Yeah.
That it's hard to stop their adrenaline. You know, you want them. You can't not stop them being pumped up. If you can't get pumped North London derby, you'll never get pumped up. But you've got to use your brain, ain't you? It needed someone when their first tackles went in to say, "Come on, Rob, mate, slow it down, slow it down." Maybe they did. I don't know, but he just cracked on with what he was doing. It's selfish. You're letting the team down, aren't you? You're letting the team down. You're letting fans down for what? You know, how long was there left? 70 minutes.
Anyway, Tim Hogan, one of the contributors, is in the live chat. He says, "Hi lads, hi." Darcy
Right,
comes back and
Timmy.
says, "Smith Rowe does not start, and Saliba does not want to come back." Tim Hogan also goes on to say, "Agree totally with John. I think Pepe's career with Arsenal is over. Back to France, maybe." And Issue says it's a daylight robbery on Arsenal. I'm not so sure about that. Delusional fans believing that refs are only against us. It was a penalty and 2 yellows, not a straight red for holding. Heads Up also says, do you think Arsenal bottled it due to the what? To the what?
I think that's atmosphere, probably.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think we bottled it. We played well, but once we got that card and we're down to 10 men, you were always going to be impossible to win that game. And unfortunately, as soon as we got the red card, we conceded just pretty much straight after. So we were 2-0 down, 10 men, down to 10 men. And at that point, I knew we weren't getting anything out of the game.
But Richard, it looked like Arteta didn't have a plan B.
What I think happened is from that was there was discussion going on. Do we play? Let's get Holding on. And Arteta said, no, hang on, not Holding. I don't want to risk him now. And then it was a case of, right, and it took them a few minutes then to figure out who do I bring off and what player do I bring on and how do I adjust the system. But and then in the time it took them to do that, we conceded a second goal. Yeah. Maybe that process could have been done quicker, but when something like that happens, you're not getting that time to make those decisions, and it ended up costing us a second goal. But it's a hard one.
Yeah. Anyway, we have come to the end of another Easy Talk with 2/3 of the likely lads. Brother Isaac got stuck somewhere. I'm not sure where, but he got stuck. He never made it.
Maybe he stuck to his post-it notes.
Go on, Isaac.
Anyway. John, thank you for coming back. Thank you very much for your time.
Ice.
I forgot all about that.
Tasty, Alex.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll all get tickets to the Everton game and we'll bring the bucket along for Alex just in case.
What, KFC bucket?
KFC all round.
Well, it'd be better than the food at the Emirates, that's for sure.
Richard, also, thank you for coming back, Richard, on the Easy Talk.
Thank you for having me again.
I'm sure we'll be seeing these guys throughout next week. If you missed them, if you can miss them over the weekend, you'll see them next week anyway, at least for the Cannon Project on Monday, 5:30 p.m. local time, GMT time. Anyway, that's it. The review of North London Derby. Not good. So we've got onwards and upwards on Monday. Oh,
Alex, sorry to interrupt. Can I just say one thing? It was great that Harry Kane didn't get, and that was a saving grace about the game. He never got an hat trick. We'd never live that down off the Spuds.
That's right, actually. That's right. Anyway, we're out. I'll be back tomorrow morning giving some more live news in regards to Arsenal. Arsenal. Yay. And until then, you've been watching Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over this world.